Hello everyone, I am Sienna Preet and welcome back to my channel Being CA with Preet. I hope you have already watched the earlier parts of Lfar. If you haven't watched them yet, please check it out. I'll share the link for the same in my description box. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel Being CA with Preet. In today's video, we are going to conclude Lfar. So let's begin with Lfar part 3. The last point under assets cover other assets of the bank. Under other assets, Lfar asks about suspense and sundry asset account. Every banking institution will have a suspense account in its books of accounts. What matters is how they deal with it, how expeditiously it clears the item debited to suspense account. For the first clause, under other assets, we need to report about those entries which are outstanding for more than 90 days. We will have to obtain suspense account from the bank with aging, and after that we need to report entries above 90 days and reasons thereof in Annexure 32. Also, if in our test check and scrutiny of financials we come across any account head which has balances which seems irrecoverable and may require a write-off, then they are also to be reported under the said annexure. For clause 2, we need to report the nature and amount involved of unusual items, if any, found during our test check. Now moving to second part of Lfar, that is liabilities section. First point under liabilities is deposits. Clause A under deposits inquires about identification of dormant and inoperative accounts and internal controls with regard to such accounts. For this, we need to understand their process of identification and also the guidelines related to it. If we come across any such instances where such guidelines are not followed, then we have to give details under this clause. For example, one such guideline is if any inoperative or dormant account becomes an active account later on, then its KYC has to be done again. Clause B asks about the unusual large movements in aggregate deposit held at the year end. To check this clause, we need to obtain list of aggregate deposits as on the year end and as on the date of audit. Then compare them to check for any unusual movement during that period. If there is any such movement observed, then we need to ask for the clarifications and comment accordingly. Clause C asks whether FCNR deposits are also automatically renewed. If yes, whether the bank has satisfied itself to non-resident status of depositor. For this, we need to understand the system of renewal of FCNR deposits from the branch officials. On the basis of the same, we need to check whether the bank is following the related guidelines or not and report accordingly. Clause D is about minimum balance requirement of bank. We can verify this by selecting the sample of saving account where the balance is below the minimum balance required as per the bank, and then open their masters to check whether the bank has levied the charges for non-maintenance of minimum balance or not. Comment accordingly as per our observations. Point 2 covers other liabilities like bills payable, sundry deposits, etc. Under clause A, we need to report all those old outstanding items which are pending for 1 year or more. We can obtain this list from the branch and report under Annexure 33. Clause B asks about whether there is any unusual withdrawal or debit in such liabilities account. If any such debit is observed during our test check, then we need to report the details over here. Point 3 covers contingent liabilities. Under this, we need to inquire about major items of contingent liabilities which are not acknowledged by the branch and report the same under Annexure 34. Now let's move to part 3, which is profit and loss account. This part asks about various issues. Firstly, excess or short credit in income accounts of the bank, like interest, commission, discount, etc. If during our test check we find any such thing, then we need to report under Annexure 35. Secondly, excess or short debit in interest of deposit accounts. If we find any such debit in our test check, then that has to be reported under Annexure 36. Third point is about compliance with IRAC norms. Under this part, we have to comment on branch compliance with income recognition norms on the basis of our audit and verification of advances. For the fourth clause, we need to inquire of the branch system of estimating and providing interest on overdue, matured, unpaid, unclaimed term deposits and then comment accordingly. Under this part, we also have to comment upon major diversions found while comparing the financials with that of the previous year. If the bank is not able to explain such diversions, then the same has to be reported under this clause. Now let's move to fourth part, that is general. This is the last part of Lfar which covers another 7 sections. First under it is gold, bullion and security items. For these items, we need to verify and comment upon the following things. First, they should be under effective joint custody of 2 or more officials. Second, branch should maintain adequate records for receipt, issue and balance. Shall also do periodic verification of the same. Third, there should be adequate internal control over issue and custody of these items. If any discrepancy is noticed under any of the above point, then it shall be reported under this part. Second part, that is books and records. This point basically talks about 3 things. First, whether there is any manual intervention in recording of books and accounts and is it integrated with CBS? We need to ask branch officials about it and give details thereof. Secondly, whether the branch has been subjected to any IS audit, and if yes, then we have to go through its adverse features. If any such adverse feature has impact on the accounts of the branch, then we need to give details of the same in LFAR. Thirdly, exception reports. We need to inquire from the branch officials that whether they are generating and verifying such reports at the periodicity prescribed. If yes, then whether there is expeditious compliance of daily exception reports. If there are any major observations pending at the year end, then the same are also to be reported. Also, we need to comment upon data integrity for MIS. Third point under general is inter-branch accounts. This point asks about the expeditious compliance with the communications from HO or higher level authorities regarding unmatched transactions. If we come to know about any such instances where there are unresponded queries or communications beyond 7 days, then we have to give details of the same. Fourth part is frauds. Under this point, first we need to ask from the branch officials about the suspected and likely cases of fraud which are reported to the higher office during the year. And if there are any such cases, then we need to give details of the same along with their status of investigation. Secondly, on the basis of our overall observation, we are required to comment upon potential risk areas which might lead to the fraud. For example, false representation by the borrower, misappropriation of funds through shell companies or related party transactions, forgery of financial documents like invoices, stock statements, work orders, fake export or shipping bill, etc. Thirdly, we need to verify the existence of early warning system in the branch and whether the same forms the basis on which bank classified red flagged accounts. Moving to point 5, which is about KYC AML guidelines. If during our test check we found that KYC AML guidelines were followed by the branch, then just report the same under this point. Point 6 is about MIS, Management Information Systems. Under this, we have to comment upon data integrity, that whether the bank ensures the same, and if we find any instances where the data integrity was compromised, then we need to comment accordingly. Point 7 is about miscellaneous things. This point ensures that we as an auditor consider all other latest reports issued to the bank like last year LFAR, internal audit, RBI inspection report, concurrent audit report, stock audit report, IS audit report, etc. and look for any adverse comment in the same so that we can take them into consideration for the current audit. It also asks about any other matters which we as a branch auditor want to bring to the notice of management and statutory central auditors. If there are any such observations, then we should give details of the same under this point. This concludes our long form audit report. I hope you liked the presentation and the information shared had given you some insights which would be helpful to you in conducting the bank audit. If you really find this video informative, please give it a like and do share it with your friends and colleagues. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel Being CA with Preet. Thank you.